Okay, guys, so we are live. We're going to get into this SNAP benefit thing. Now, for those of you that may not know, the Democrats did propose an extension to the ACA. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's the Affordable Care Act. So they did propose to extend that and, agree, if they would extend, which means if the Republicans would extend it, let's just move forward and open the government. Of course, the Republicans did not agree to that. So, as you guys know, we are still in a shutdown. As I have told y'all, for some time now, I don't believe Trump wants to reopen the government. I believe that his entire plan is to starve people out. I mean, we have 40 million people that receive food assistance. And I'm going to continue to say this: people that receive food assistance are not people that scam. And you have elderly, you have disabled. And with him being in office, all the damn people that lost their jobs. So, people definitely need this assistance. Well, let's get into what is happening on the House floor when the Republicans again refuse to open the government.
Democratic Leader.
Ask unanimous consent the quorum be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Well, Madam President, the blast radius of the Republican shutdown grows even larger. This morning, tens of millions of Americans remain in limbo as this administration continues its crusade against SNAP. The Supreme Court has allowed the administration to withhold benefits as the case makes its way through the lower courts. For this administration to go all the way to the Supreme Court just to get out of having to pay SNAP benefits for hungry kids is pathological levels of vindictiveness. This crisis is in the administration's hands. It's all them, not anyone else. The minute the administration wanted to, it could find a fix for SNAP and ensure that people don't go hungry. But they're not choosing to act in what is really a nasty act of hostage-taking against the most vulnerable people in our society. Let me read what the Rhode Island judge said earlier this week about this case. Quote, "People have gone without for too long. Not making payments to them for even another day is simply unacceptable." Now, the administration could have said, okay, we'll have to pay it, but that wasn't good enough for them. Of course not. This administration, again, is viciously cruel and will use anybody for a hostage. But the chaos doesn't end with SNAP benefits. 39 days into the crisis, the FAA has ordered a 10% cut of flights at America's busiest airports, and Secretary Duffy warned it could soon reach 20%. As of this morning, over 1,000 flights have been canceled. Travelers are standing in line for hours just to get through security. Parents traveling to see their kids have had their plans turned upside down. People traveling for funerals, family reunions, business trips have all too often been met with chaos. But what's happening at America's airports right now is not an accident, it's a stunt. Look at the way the order was designed. 4% of flights canceled yesterday at 40 major airports, with plans to ramp up day to day until it hits 10% and maybe 20%. How much more transparently political can you get? This isn't about safety. It's about politics masquerading as safety. When air traffic controllers are working without pay, when the system is strained to its limit, the solution isn't to cancel flights. It's to pay the worker and open up the government, which the administration could do right now. As I understand it, under previous shutdowns, airports were never shut down. But again, the level that this administration, the level that they will go to, putting the American people in discomfort and worse, is unprecedented. Instead of negotiating with Democrats to lower costs, Republicans would rather let air traffic controllers go unpaid. Instead of negotiating with Democrats to reopen the government, they'd rather ground flights. Instead of negotiating with Democrats to help families, they're punishing travelers. Instead of governing, Republicans are playing games with people's livelihoods. And they have the ability to pay the air traffic controllers like they sent money, just as Trump sent money to Argentina, $20 billion. If they wanted to find the money, they could. Absolutely. So why? Why have Republicans dragged this shutdown on for so long? Because they don't want to lower health care costs. Because they seem happy to let 24 million Americans see their premiums double on average. Yesterday, we offered Republicans a perfectly reasonable compromise to get out of this horrible shutdown that they installed on the American people. We offered three things. We all vote to reopen the government. We all approve a one-time temporary extension of current ACA premium tax credits, and then after we reopen, we'll negotiate, as Republicans say they want, for longer-term fixes to ACA affordability.
Will the senator yield for a question?
No, only after I finish.
Okay.
I know many Republicans stormed out the gate to dismiss this offer, but that's a terrible mistake. Our offer is not a new policy. This is not negotiating in a shutdown. It's simply agreeing to maintain current funding levels. A one-year extension is something many Republicans themselves have said they want. It's something a great many Americans support. 55% of Trump supporters support it, after all. So it's alarming that Republicans even refuse to acknowledge we have an immediate crisis right now that needs fixing. Listen to the arguments Republicans have been making on the floor. Just listen. Republicans are making it clear as day that they are happy to let premiums skyrocket. Behind me is the consequence. Look at this across America in states red and blue. The black areas are districts that would increase subsidies, that subsidy costs would increase that insurance payments for people would increase 300%. Dark blue 200 to 300, and the list goes on. Look how bad it is. Every single state's impacted, most of all Republican states. Look, if Republicans want to talk about long-term fixes to ACA affordability, Democrats are ready. We said so yesterday. But in the meantime, doing nothing is derelict because people will go bankrupt, people will lose insurance, people will get sicker. And that's what will happen if this Congress fails to act. Republicans must act. I yield to my colleague from Ohio.
Thank you to the Democrat leader for yielding to a question. Have you put forward a proposal that we can read that you referenced in your speech, what says a clean continuing resolution with the extension of the ACA Biden COVID credits?
Yes, as we spoke yesterday.
So there is
I will not be interrupted.
No, my question is there a proposal in writing that we can read?
There is a proposal that is very simple. First, you haven't put your proposed ACA, fix to the ACA, the new one, which Leader Thune has spoken about on the floor, so we can't give you a counter in writing. But it's very simple, because we have two sentences we would add to any proposal, which would extend the ACA benefits for 1 year. That's all, plain and simple. And the leader can put that in his proposal on opening up the government. So it doesn't need a vote. It can't be blocked by anybody. It's the right thing to do.
Would it still have no income caps, so people who make $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year?
As we said, if he would have listened to my speech yesterday, once we pass the one-year fix, so people right now aren't in difficulty, we would sit and negotiate that. The leader has said he won't negotiate before. We're willing to negotiate once the credits are extended, plain and simple. And we made that in our proposal yesterday.
So for 1 year, people making millions of dollars would still receive these COVID-era subsidies?
The bottom line is the senator from Ohio ignores that 99% of people, you want to hurt people making $10,000, $50,000, $90,000 and hold this up? We can fix what the gentleman said in a negotiation, but don't have people who are every day being hurt by paying thousands of dollars more that they can't afford. I know that the senator from Ohio cares about the billionaires. We care about average working people. I yield the floor.
So just to be clear, Ms. President.
Was recognized.
So just to be clear, what you heard from the minority leader was the following. I just want to recap it for those of you who might have missed. Number one, he acknowledged that the Democrats have actually not put forward a written proposal that people could look at. Number two, he acknowledged that his plan would be to allow millionaires, let me just say that clearly, people making millions of dollars would receive Biden-era COVID Obamacare subsidies. You heard that right. No income cap. I was going to ask him before he stormed out of the room, because evidently he doesn't want to hear any opposing views or actually engage in meaningful negotiation. He would have heard me ask the next question, Madam President, which is, would he continue $0 premiums, which we know for a fact have enormous levels of fraud? If he had stayed, I would have asked him a third question. Does he want these monies to go directly to insurance companies? Let me repeat that, Madam President, because I don't think the American people have been told the truth here. This money does not go to people on Obamacare. This is a check written from the federal government to the wealthiest insurance companies on the planet. He wants no income caps, millionaires getting COVID subsidies. He wants $0 premiums that are filled with fraud, and he wants to enrich insurance companies even more. And because he can't get that, here's the irony. There's federal workers, military, TSA, the clerks here that aren't receiving paychecks, that might get their health insurance canceled because we're not sending the premiums in. He's doing this to help people who have made millions of dollars already with this flawed healthcare system. And, Madam President, to make it worse, he admitted right here on the floor of the United States Senate, the minority leader admitted that he has actually not submitted a written proposal to allow the Senate to consider. And let me just say one last thing, and I'll yield my time to the senator from Louisiana, who last night I went.
This is absolutely crazy. Like, these people just make up shit as they go along. So let me try to explain this to you all. So the reason why the Democrat leader asked to just extend the current ACA is because what Dusty Donald Trump said is he would not negotiate until the government is open. So basically, what they decided to do is, hey, let's just extend the affordable healthcare credit, so therefore people won't be put in a bind to try to come up with monies now that they don't have. People have been fired, people have been let go. And also what you guys need to figure out, understand, is a lot of companies now have started to laying people off just because of what's happening in the government. So essentially, what they ask is that these ACA tax credits for people that receive that health care be extended so that people aren't struggling. So generally they're just asking for it to be extended because they're like, well, we're not going to negotiate until the government opens back up. Well, here's the deal. The Speaker of the House, which is Mike Johnson, he has not called any he's basically closed up shop. They said they have not worked in 6 weeks. So I don't think this is going to get worse. I don't think this is going to get better. I think it's going to get worse, as I've been saying for a long time. I think that this is orchestrated by Trump. The Republicans are not moving. They don't care about people not being able to eat. They don't care about these workers not getting paid because, as you guys know, in a government shutdown, they are in fact getting paid, which is crazy because they're not even working.
Democratic representative from California, Eric Swalwell. Congressman, good to see you, especially on a Saturday here. So, thanks, Senate Democrats unveiled their compromise deal to end this shutdown, extending the ACA subsidies just for 1 year and saying they will vote on a clean CR. You heard me talking to Kevin, and the Republicans very quickly shot that down, repeating Obamacare tax credits are a non-starter. But with the Senate in session right now, could we see a weekend miracle?
That'd be great. That'd be great for the federal workers who are showing up and not getting paid. It'd be great for the millions of Americans who are looking at these eye-popping insurance rates they're going to be paying next year that are 300 to 400% more. And I have to tell you, it'd be great for the TSA agents who, you typically don't notice when you go through the metal detector. You just don't want your belt or your bag to set off, an alarm. They're usually viewed as an inconvenience, although they do a really important job. And now I and many others I've noticed in line are just whispering to them, thank you, because I don't know anyone, Alex, who would work without pay for 42 days. But to these folks, there's something more important than money. It's our safety. But for Republicans, what I'm seeing is that the most important thing to them is to protect the president from these Epstein files, which is largely driving the House from coming back. And so it's quite concerning. But if you see a TSA agent at the airport today, please just say thank you.
Yeah.
These folks are working without pay, and they're doing a critically important job.
Yeah, I made my way through LAX about a week ago, and let me tell you, I was thanking him just like you are. So let's talk about this ruling that we got with the Supreme Court last night, which is allowing the Trump administration to temporarily prevent full SNAP benefits from being paid out for November, while another court makes a determination soon about it. What do you tell your constituents, sir, who see a government shutdown from a deadlocked Congress, a Supreme Court preventing families from getting the immediate relief they need to buy food, and with the executive having ever increasing power, making demands of Republicans who are in control of everything?
The president has the power and the money to feed hungry Americans. But let's be honest here, Alex. It's easy for people with food to debate about helping people without food. But those people are going hungry now, every day, every night. And they're not waking up to breakfast, but what they're waking up to is a government that is shut down, largely because Republicans don't care if your insurance premiums go up 300%, but are really concerned about protecting Donald Trump from the Epstein files. They've chosen the files. I'm choosing the friggin' food. And that's what most Americans are choosing. And so Republicans should get back to work on the House side. And if they don't want to work, we should put Mike Johnson's job on LinkedIn. He's not showing up. People probably don't remember what he looks like. We've not been in session for 50 days, Alex. That's longer than a summer August recess. And so it's time for us to get back to work and end the shutdown.
Yeah. So the word of this week seems to be affordability. I mean, even your colleague, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, is pushing back against Trump's claims that prices are going down. New York City Mayor-elect Mamdani won largely on this issue. Should affordability be the Democrats' platform heading into the midterms? I mean, is this issue resonating most with your constituents? And is it another way of phrasing that classic 1992 Clinton campaign winning mantra, it's the economy, stupid?
Yes. And I would call the mantra, it costs too much. Literally and figuratively. The president promised he'd bring down prices on day one. We're approaching day 300. He's 0 for 300. And figuratively, this administration costs too much in the rights that are being stripped away from our immigrant friends and neighbors, from women who can't make decisions about their bodies. So a mantra that I'm going with is, it costs too much, and you work too hard, and you have invested so much and bet on yourself that your country should bet on you. Bet on your job wages going up, your costs coming down, bet on your kids' future, bet on your kids' safety, bet on you doing better and dreaming bigger because of your hard work. And so that message resonated in Virginia, it resonated in New Jersey, in California, from basically Manhattan to Manhattan Beach. It cut through, and it's one that can win for the midterms just a year from now.
So California Governor Gavin Newsom is appearing today with Texas lawmakers for a rally after the passage of Proposition 50 to redistrict California. He also went to the COP30 climate summit in Brazil, which President Trump boycotted this year. What is Governor Newsom's role while Trump is in the White House? Is he a foil to Trump? Is he a leader for Democrats? Is he both? Is he neither? How do you see it?
He is show, not tell. There are a lot of people right now who are sending strongly worded letters. We've seen that come out from some Democratic senators. And Gavin Newsom is show, not tell. He goes to court to fight the Trump administration when he's declared war on our streets, and he's won. He went to the voters with Prop 50, which, by the way, I call Prop Fairness, because Prop 50 was just another effort of California saving the country. We were asked to do it again, and we answered. And so Gavin Newsom is stepping up and showing that we can either be on our heels and see the most vulnerable in our communities on their heels, or we can have the Trump administration on theirs. And so it's a model that I hope other governors recognize and other attorneys general across the country recognize, because we're either going to be on offense or we're going to be on defense. And when we're on defense, the most vulnerable in the community suffer.
Yeah. Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi announced she's not running for re-election. How much will her guidance be missed by Democrats?
Tremendously. She is my work mom. She has prepared us for this moment in the number of colleagues who she has mentored over the years through her, her ability to keep the caucus together, our diversity being our strength, but also her ability to, just be unflappable and to never flinch in the face of Donald Trump's abuses. But as we approach the midterms, I'll never forget sitting next to her on a plane on one of these cross-country red eyes. And I'll tell you, Alex, when I get on a red eye, I just try and sleep, especially with a bunch of little kids. I sit next to Nancy Pelosi. I know I'm not going to sleep because she doesn't sleep and she works and reads. And on a red eye during the first Trump administration, I asked her if she thought that a wave was coming. And she looked at me and she said, Eric, we don't wait for waves, we make the waves. And I've never forgotten that. And that's just the leadership that she's always shown. And for me, those are marching orders for what we need to do for the next year to make sure that we win the midterms and cut our time in hell by half.
I love that story. She has never let grass grow under her feet, for sure. All right, Congressman Eric Swalwell, good to see you. Thank you so much.
You too. Thanks.